So my thumbnail is not clickbait. I really am done with supplying and selling EVs. Now, for those that might have only recently joined my channel and watched my auction videos, I am ex-motor trade. I used to work for myself selling, since 2004 when I set up my own business. I sold hybrids and LPG, liquid petroleum gas vehicles, hence the name of my company, Eco Cars. So I was sort of early on the bandwagon, so to speak, by supplying cars that are a little bit more friendly towards the environment. And over time, it just grew to the point where I just made a complete switch to purely electric vehicles. After supplying plug-in hybrids for quite a while, I just went fully electric. And then, long story short, I sold my business to a business project called Reflex here on Orkney. I advised them for about 18 months. And then I've retired, sold my business, took the money and retired. Now you guys are still enjoying my videos and I've still got a real keen interest in the motor trade and in the car market and the massive changes that are taking place, particularly with the zero mandate thingamajig going to 2030 and then 2035, and all the chatter that's on all the social media, particularly YouTube, from those who make a living from discussing electric vehicles and the pros and the cons, etc. But leaving that to one side, I do get a lot of people requesting on my YouTube videos, particularly about auctions, asking me to supply. Will I start buying to order again like I used to? So just a sample here. Please buy a car for me. Jonathan has got no clue on how things work out and I'm happy to pay a fee. Would love to buy a car from you. You can come out of retirement, maybe a mentor for someone else part-time. And then someone called Marcus Maximus said, good comment and an excellent idea. Really appreciate these sentiments of your trust in me as a human being and as a car dealer. UK Nick, do you offer an auction buying service for EVs, Jonathan? Hi Jonathan, can you source a Model S with free supercharging? Yeah, I get a lot of comments like that following Jonny Smiths' video. Was going to ask if you buy for the trade or non-trade from Sparky. Do you usually keep buying EVs or buy for your friends? Do you offer services to find a Tesla S like the one you found for Jonny Smith? And another one about the Tesla. Hi Jonathan, how many of these cheap Teslas do you see coming through the auctions? I'd love to buy one for myself through an expert like yourself, thank you. A Model 3 and a Model S, one for me and one for my son. What a lucky son he's got there, from Anthony Evans. And hi Jonathan, would you be able to assist in buying EV from auction for a fee from Paul F3353. Really appreciate all these questions. Like I said, I am retired. I could sort of come out of retirement and start again, but the car buying public, and this is no reflection on you that's possibly watching, I'm now retired, and the thought of going back into the retail space to supply direct from auction and charge a £300 fee, which is what I used to do, it's fraught with stress. So I'd say a good 70% of my customers in the past fully were on board with the fact they were buying from an auction. It might need a valet, there might be a slow puncture, one of the spare keys might need a battery key fob. You know, minor little things that the auction hadn't picked up on, which is what, being in the motor trade, you just take on the chin and just sort it out. But towards the end, before I sold my business, you get a lot of public saying, I demand my rights. I know my statutory rights. I want you to fix this, this, this and this. And of course you jump through hoops, you get it sorted, and very quickly that £300 margin you made on buying them a £15,000–20,000 car was eaten up in order to keep the right side of the law. So the thought of going back into that space with that sort of stress is not something I particularly want. I'm really keen on getting as many people as possible into electric vehicles, but do I really want the stress? No, I'm 62. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. I don't need to earn sums of money to pay my way. I'm retired. So I really appreciate your trust in me. The Jonny Smith episode was a one-off because I wanted to increase my presence on YouTube, of which I get paid a small amount, which is a bit of pin money, a bit of beer money, which I enjoy, and I enjoy doing it. And there's no comeback from a sort of legal, statutory point of view, consumer rights. You know, I've not yet had anybody say, I'm taking you to court because of what you said on YouTube. You know, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, in my opinion, YouTube is quite safe for me to make content, safe in the knowledge I'm not going to have anyone knocking on my door or anyone threatening legal action for me expressing myself. So I'm happy to do the YouTube videos. I'm still really interested in electric vehicles and the motor industry and the fascinating rate of change that's happening. But I'm not about to go down that rabbit hole again of supplying to the general public. Jonny Smith was a one-off. It was a culmination of events. I saw it coming up. I pinged Jonny a message because we're in touch fairly regularly. He was really interested. He then contacted a contact within Tesla who let him know it still had free supercharging. So the finance company that was selling that Model S didn't know. The auction house certainly didn't know, otherwise they would have said, and it would have gone for more money than £5,000. So Jonny Smith was very, very lucky. Everything fell into place. And the battery pyro fuse that was needed wasn't as complicated as we thought. So that's what you get when buying from auction with stuff that's out of warranty. You take a bit of a punt. You take a risk. And his risk paid off amazingly well. And I'm so pleased for Jonny. And it was an absolute bargain. But the chances of that happening again are really, really remote. And like I said, I bought for Jonny because I knew he wouldn't be throwing it back in my face and complaining that there was an extra scuff on the carpets or there was an extra chip that hadn't been itemised in the condition report. He knew exactly he was buying from traders. If he was standing in the auction himself, as dealers, we can't go back to the auction and say, well, hang on, there's a little scuff on this bit of plastic you didn't mention, I want my money back. You just don't. But when you buy at auction and then sell to the public, even if it's a trade sale, the public know their rights. And if they're not happy with anything, they'll throw the law book back at you. And as a retailer, even though I bought from auction, I have a duty of care to sort of make them happy again by getting something fixed. It's too much hassle. It's too much stress. I don't want to go down that road again. But Jonny Smith's Model S was a one-off. Everything fell into place for him. I'm really pleased for him. And he's about to do some more update videos. Bit of a rambling one, but I just wanted to thank you for all your comments. People that really want me to supply again. But I've thought long and hard about it. I don't want the stress. I really don't. So I might buy for a neighbour. I might buy for a family member. Or somebody on YouTube who I know really well who isn't going to throw the rule book back at me. Now, as regards buying from auction, there's only one auction I'm allowed to buy from, which is 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐿, because I've helped them out over the years and I know the owner and the auctioneer Michael really well. So they've allowed me to have an account. But all the rest, the Aston Barclays, BCA, Mannheim, G3, all the other big auction houses, you need an account. You need to be a registered car dealer. You need to be VAT registered. You don't want to go being VAT registered again, I tell you. That's a bit of a headache / nightmare / stress. What else is there to consider? Yeah, you've also got to have a trader's insurance. Supply all those details, and then they'll allow you to have an account. Now, if you don't use that account for a number of months, they will suspend the account. The great thing about 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐿, they know my situation, helped them out and advised them over the years about EVs when they were first coming to market. So I've got a good friendly relationship, and they allow me to video their sale and also buy from them should I want to, and I get the same rates as dealers. But yeah, there you go. I can just buy from 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐿, but I'm not going to buy for the general public because I want a nice happy retirement. I've repeated myself quite a lot. Thank you for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. give it a thumbs up, and I think the latest thing is a hype. If you can give me a hype, because then I get a little bit more interest from YouTube, which helps with my pin money. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.